Hey, what's up, Internet? It's the Jerry Crew, yeah! This is our fanfiction aficionado, Katie.
They kidnapped me.
Again. Yeah, sorry. Whoops. We're in Kate's kitchen.
Spilling some tea.
Yeah, we got our mugs.
We were just hanging out one day, and this individual got brought up in conversation. I was just like, you know what? He's an anomaly. I think that people would be interested in hearing about all the crap that went down with him.
When you're in the moment, you're just like, yeah, that's pretty weird. But then you look back on it and you're just like, holy shit.
I know,
why
it's so
didn't
bad.
I call the police? Basically, this guy that we were friends with, he was in our friend group.
We're gonna call him Alex.
Alex the Rad Man.
No, it's not Alex the Rad Man.
It's not Alex the Rad Man, but nonetheless, his name is Alex in today's video. So he associated himself with a lot of the same friends that we had. But he was a well-known Marine.
But basically, like, him being a Marine was, like, a core part of his personality. Like, everything about him went back to, they taught this in the Marines. They taught us how to shoot ducklings in the Marines. Like, basically everything, like, about him went back to the Marines. He, like, talked about, he's like, I have crippling PTSD. I have screws in my back because bullets!
Yeah. And that makes it a little freaky when you find out that he never was.
We know nothing. Literally, none of us know anything about this guy. And it's really, honestly, like, the more I think about it, it's very, very disturbing.
So basically, the way that we found out he wasn't in the Marines for sure, I mean, we had our suspicions, right? Some things just did not add up. First of all, his mom flat out fucking said, no, he was never in the Marines, okay? And he would always say, like, oh yeah, like, my mom, she denies me being in the Marines to other people because, like, it's hard for her to cope. You know, she sent me to boot camp and then I was in the Marines.
He, like, lied about his entire life backstory.
He did. It's really funny. One of his friends also brought it up that he is lying. I think you got some of the best shit.
He would, like, message me, like, these messages, and I, like, would either, like, I'd read them or, like, I wouldn't answer back because I didn't want to lead him on or anything, but he would say some things that kind of unnerved me a little bit. He's like, you're the most beautiful woman I know, so I hate to see you sad or angry, so I don't want to do anything that makes you sad or angry. And I was like, oh, thank you, but I was like, where is this going? He's like, so I give you my word, and a man's word should never be broken. Have you looked at history? History is all about men's words being broken.
Also, he gave us the word that he was in the Marines. So how well is that going?
So I made a post for you so you would feel better on the trip regarding that post. Oh yeah, he wrote really, really disturbing posts. Like, he loved knives.
Which I get, everyone has their hobbies.
But he would talk about how he, like, loved, like, shooting baby animals.
He used to, post these things where it was just like, oh yeah, you know, when you start going into the Marines, you really don't want to shoot any of these people, and then you realize you kind of like it.
Yes, he would. Oh my gosh, yeah.
I forgot about that.
That was all he posted.
He really desperately wanted to teach me and Cassidy self-defense.
It was right before Kate and I decided to move to Chicago. Suburban people are, like, pretty afraid of the city. At this point, we believed it as well.
I'm used to the crack addicts.
He was like, you know, when you're moving to Chicago, it's like Chirac there. Like, you need to, like, be careful, and you need to know self-defense from a Marine. So I'm inviting you and Kate to come over to my house when my mom's not home. He wanted to teach us, like, how to, like, use knives, how to, like, defend ourselves from knives, and how to, like, defend ourselves from guns and, like, stuff, and, like, other stuff. And then he also, like, he was like, what's your biggest fear? And I was like, I don't know, shadows. Like, shadowy places freak me out. And he was just like, well, I guess that this will be good for you then. We're gonna go in my basement.
Yeah, that'll do it!
Like, and then I'm gonna come at you from the darkness, and you're gonna have to take me down.
That's not what it was.
That's the only way you can overcome your fear, Cass. And he's like, I'm gonna come at you from behind, and it's gonna
alone in his basement while his
Oh no,
mom
you were
isn't
supposed to be
home.
there too. It was gonna be
I was
me.
supposed to be there too?
Yes.
You didn't ask me.
So it would be a gangbang.
This one over here, I swear.
Well, he didn't ask me what my greatest fear would be, which ironically would be him coming at me from the shadows. I mean, I don't know how he would intend to help me through that one.
So I had like a hangout.
Yeah, it was at Katie's house.
We were all playing a game, right? I don't even remember how it started. Basically, he started just having a random ass fucking breakdown in the middle of a game. I guess that triggered it. Like, we were all having a good time. Like, oh yeah, I would kill that person and then marry that person and then fuck that person. Oh my god, this is such a great time. And then Alex is just like, I fought in the war. I saw people get blown up.
And he was just like, you don't even know what I had to do for this country. For all you, none of you guys just to get to live your lives every day.
Because of what I did.
My best friend just got his arm shot off. He died in my arms.
By the way, he literally goes on and on about how his best friend died in his arms. It's just fucked up when you find out that he wasn't in the Marines.
Then he goes and talks about how he had to shoot a little girl. He's like, I had to shoot this little girl because she had a bomb attached to her, so that means I shoot her.
He had this huge obsession with Cassidy. I'm very good at reading other people's emotions, and I can tell when you're faking. He doesn't make it hard. He was, quote-unquote, crying during this episode, right? I was very close to his face, and he was doing the whole thing where he was making his voice, like, vibrate like he was crying like this, but, like, I, like, looked, and there was no tears, nothing in his eyes. There was no, like, even watering up a little bit. His eyes were just normal. You know, like, when you look into people's eyes and you can see that they have problems?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that, but, like, not the problems that he was claiming to have. He wasn't crying at all. He was faking it, and he kept occasionally glancing at Cassidy, who, by the way, was on her phone, not listening to anything. I was listening because I was just, like, kind of amused.
I could tell there was something weird about it.
He would like, keep, during his entire monologue, keep, like, glancing at Cassidy to, like, be like, he would just be like, just throughout the entire thing, and I was just like, dude, she's not looking at you. It's like, I don't know what's worse, having to shoot a little girl or just, like, lying about it. I don't know. I don't know if his best friend died in his arms or not. I don't know what he does to his friends when he's alone in that basement. We don't know! It could have just been under different circumstances that he's telling us.
It was like, very odd.
It was a very high, and then, like, we were just like, oh man, this game's so fun, and then it was just like, I shot a little girl once. Like, and we're all just like...
So he'd send me, like, these messages where he'd be like, good morning, blah, 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 and I wouldn't answer him back or whatever, like, or my responses would be very short. He was, like, Facebook friends with me or whatever, and I would, like, occasionally share stuff about OCD because, you know, I have OCD, But I'm like, yay, OCD! I'm dying inside. And he went and he told Kate, Alex was like, hey, you know, like, me and Cassidy, we have, like, long conversations about OCD and, like, PTSD and stuff, and, like, Kate came up to me and asked me.
I don't know if he's just stupid. We're tight as fuck. We're tighter than bark on a tree. Like, did he think I wasn't gonna go and just be like, oh, by the way, that one fucking creepy guy that wanted you in his basement, as well as mom wasn't home, he tells me that you and him talk extensively about your guys' mental state. Do you really talk to him about this stuff? And you were just like, no. Odd.
The longer convos were more about, like, I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, which I shouldn't have, that he was, like, a Marine, and I was like, huh, you know, self-defense is cool, I guess. Very soon, like, after I, like, got those messages and I started, like, reading into it more, I was like, there's something really weird and unhinged about this guy, and, like, also he'd get into, like, Facebook debates with my dad.
If you want to get in a girl's pants, don't debate their bad. I'm not gonna say, like, maybe he does have OCD.
No, he was relating it to his made-up PTSD.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Oh, he was? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's made up. Because the PTSD that he talked about was early PTSD from something that, like...
Never happened.
I don't know, never happened, so...
I mean,
I guess
it's possible he could have something, but...
Oh, yeah, he definitely has something.
It's just not what he says that he has.
Like, 4th of July was coming up, and he was literally like, don't... Like, I would love to come and see fireworks with you guys, but just... don't blow off fireworks around me, because you know what? I fought for you guys. No, everything you guys have is because I fought for you. But I don't want the glory. I don't want, like, he even messaged me once. He was just like, I don't want any glory. I'm just like, well, if you're lying about it,
you clearly do.
What do you want? Some people that were actually in the Marines don't talk like that about being in the Marines. They aren't like, everything you have is because I fought for it, and I'm sick of ungrateful people.
No.
Yeah, no. No one who's in the Marines fucking does that, or if they did, they're fucking pieces of shit.
Real Marines, like, hate people like Alex that do this crap. Really, I mean, I've said this, like, before, like, in this video. What's creepy about it is it's like he had no other discernible personality traits. All of his personality traits went back to this false identity that he had that he was in the Marine.
Yeah.
So he would go and he'd send me these messages about his PTSD all the time. This is just so bad. It's so offensive to, like, anybody who has PTSD or is in the military. It's completely terrible. He sent me, like, this video of him supposedly having a PTSD attack at work.
Yes.
Here it is.
Here it is.
I love how he, like, shows off his hand, like, oh.
I love how he clenches it. He's just like, I just want to break this down a little bit. Like, I just want to, like, take this piece by piece. Okay, so let's say he was having a PTSD attack. Let's say he was in the Marines and he was having a PTSD attack. Or he was just having a PTSD attack from anything. So he's having a PTSD attack. The first thing he thinks of when he has a PTSD attack is to whip out his handy dandy fucking phone.
I mean, like,
Go and just like kind of just be like, oh, where's the camera? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. Send to Cassidy.
Literally.
Like nobody, while they're having a PTSD attack or an attack, an anxiety attack, PTSD attack, any sort of mental disorder attack, no one's gonna whip out their phone to just take a leisurely break to like, oh, like.
And I love how, like, in big letters, he's, like, having a PTSD attack at work, like, on the freaking footage.
It's like, we interrupt this anxiety attack to send this to Cassidy and see if she likes me now. So he messaged me, and this was, like, around the time when he first started expressing interest in Cassidy. I already knew about it because I could just tell. He was just like, so, I was wondering if this certain person was single. And if yes, how would I go about talking to her? If no, it's okay. I thought of giving it a try. I was just like, is it Cassidy? He's just like, maybe. I'm no good at this. I was just like, no, it's not that. I'm just really good at telling when someone likes someone. He was just like, dang. And you know, is she single? And I was just like, oh, well, she's my best friend. I know she's single. He's just like, LOL, you're making this a little easier. I get really tingly like pins and needles when I talk about this stuff, especially last night. So the stuff that he was talking about last night was the episode that he had. He gets tingly.
Oh, it's so creepy.
Anyway, I was just like, yeah, I could ask what she thinks of you if you want. And he's just like, yes, please, because to be honest, it made me feel really good last night talking to her about all my stuff in my head and knowing she wouldn't judge or make fun of. Here we are making a video about it.
That kind of makes me feel bad, but at the same time, he's lying.
I wouldn't be making a video making fun of it if he was telling the truth. Plus, knowing someone else with my problem OCD, most people look at me weird when I do the things I do. Plus, her personality is awesome. It took a lot out of to say what I did last night. I'll ask her after we're done filming a video. He's just like, a video for the Jerry crew, I think that's the name. And I was just like, yep, that's the name, subscribe. Which, by the way, you should too. That was back when we had 32 subs. He wanted me to ask Cassidy what he thought of her, and I was just like, well, she was being really generous here. She thinks you're insanely nice, but she just got out of a relationship. She does think you're cool, though.
I think this was the conversation that me and you had. You're like, hey, like, do you guys talk about OCD a lot? And at this point, we were like, I had not talked to him about OCD at all. He just had just seen me, like, share, like, Facebook posts about OCD.
Oh, yeah, we have long, intense conversations about it, for sure.
Yeah. He's just like, the reaction I got when she saw me last night was kind of funny. Keep that part between the two of us, lol. He had in his head that Cassidy had a certain reaction, like, hi, and Cassidy was just like, oh, hi, and then he was just like, not what you were expecting, right? And Cassidy was just like, I
wasn't expecting
I don't know.
much.
Like, he had in his mind that Cassidy had a specific reaction, like a shocked reaction, like, oh, that's... I didn't expect you to be like that.
Like, he was expecting me to, like, pee my pants over his greatness or something.
No. He thought that you did.
He's,
thought
like,
that
delusional.
I wish this was alcohol. He's just like, my icy heart was warming up, and it froze again.
The Oscar award goes to...
He had this whole thing of the fact that he had an icy heart, which I guess would explain why he, like, would make up a story about him shooting a little girl. He had this whole thing where it's just like, oh, Cassidy's warming that baby up. And it's just like, Cassidy mentioned she isn't interested in you. It's just like, it's frozen again. It's like,
also...
okay, Elsa.
I have an idea. He's like an actor in his own life.
That kind of explains it. Yeah.
He sent me pictures of knives that he had.
If you have knife collections, that's cool, because I actually think that's kind of a cool collection.
Yeah, I do too,
but only if you're mentally stable. He clearly was not.
Like, he's like, knife training's my specialty. In the Marines, I was, like, so good at, like, using knives, and, like, he had this whole thing about the Marines and, like, why he had knives.
The two things that I know about him is that he lied about being in the Marines, and he was obsessed with knives.
Like, that's pretty terrifying. One day, I was just at school. He sends me this picture of this random old lady that's, like, walking down the street. He's like, I gotta watch her, gotta make sure she's protected.
No, you need to leave that lady alone. First you want to say that you're shooting a little girl, and now you want to stalk an old lady.
And he didn't just want to, he was stalking old ladies.
He was stalking the old lady.
And he's like, I gotta protect her. I'm like,
somebody's gotta protect her from you.
But, like, this group that we were all in, like, this friend group, one of our friends, Haley, decided to, like, Haley and Jim decided to
have a camping trip.
Yeah, have a camping trip.
They set
a
it
camping
up.
Trip.
They planned the whole thing out.
And then they, like, asked Alex to come with because he was, like, a part of the group at that time. And Alex, like, took control of it. And he's like, I need to have authority over this camping trip because I was in the Marines. I fought for your freedom. Everyone bow down right now. Or otherwise, I'm getting out the knife again.
But he doesn't want the glory.
He didn't threaten anybody like that, but at the same time...
Well, he did threaten to take you into his basement and attack you from the shadows. I will remind you of that.
I mean, it was gonna be, like, at this campsite that was, like, a few hours away, and I was really excited for this camping trip and stuff, and I was like, okay, sweet, you know... Like, I'm gonna be with my friends and, like, bonfires and, like, all that sounded great. But then, like, my dad, he, like, just comes into my room. He, like,
which good call on this, because...
My dad had seen, like, one of Alex's recent posts, which was, like, Alex was glorying in shooting baby squirrels.
People that kill animals for sport are... They make my list.
My dad's like, okay, so this Alex guy says he wants to, like, shoot squirrels, like, baby squirrels at this camping trip, and he's like, I really don't feel comfortable with you going on this camping trip with this, if this guy is going. He's like, because this guy is like, all he talks about is knives and how he loved killing people in Iraq. And how he wants to attack me from the shadows.
Take a shot every time I bring that up.
My dad's like, you're not going to that, so I didn't go to that.
We went. It was fun when Alex was not around.
He wanted us to, like, have this meeting to, like, discuss some specifics on the camping trip, I guess. I don't know.
Some specifics that really, like, didn't
matter.
We
would figure it out on the camping trip.
We were just like, we are literally, all we want to do is show up, camp, leave. Those are the only 3 steps you need. Do you want us to take self-defense classes before we go to that, too? He was actually at one point, yes.
Well, I mean, I just came back from my vacation at that time, so I was like, no, I'm out. I want to hang out with my boyfriend because I haven't seen him in a week. In my defense, it's like my first boyfriend, and we were still in, like, the honeymoon phase, and it was during that
plus,
time.
you can do whatever the fuck you want to do.
And also, I really didn't give a shit Because
that's
I was
why I
like,
said-
I'll figure it out.
Literally, we all expressed several times that we did not give a shit whatever he chose. He's just like, well, I'm sick of you guys complain, not being grateful for the things that you have, and all you guys do is complain. And it's just like, no, literally, no one's complained except you.
What was creepy too, when you guys went on that camping trip, I remember I was like sitting on my couch and I would like literally had like a decent sized like anxiety attack because I was terrified that like he was going to like murder you guys. I
wouldn't put it past.
My friends are out like at this like secluded area with this guy that all he talks about is his love of knives and shooting children and PTSD that he doesn't have. Oh my gosh, I was like shaking on my couch and I was like, holy cow, I should have sent that to you guys. This is what an anxiety attack looks like. He kept trying to convince me to go on this camping trip too. He was like, Cassidy, like, if anyone upsets you, anybody at all, I will take care of it. Alex, will take care of it. I'm like, the only one that's upsetting me is you.
My boyfriend kicked his ass, and he wasn't in the Marines. My boyfriend had no training.
Right.
Marines are trained in a specific
way.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way Alex should have lost to Rick, who was not trained at all.
I could tell it wasn't just Alex letting him win. Because
Like,
he was actually he was trying.
I had this theory that Alex was faking for a while, and then, like, Kate messaged me and was like, hey, like, this is pretty suspicious. How did the rest of the group, find out?
Well, one of our friends, Max, ran into his mom at, I think it was, like, a Meijer or something, and was just like, hey, so, like, is it true that Alex was in the Marines? And then Mom was just like, no, stop asking. Apparently, other people have asked as well, because I guess other people have had their suspicions. And then Max would, like, come to the group and be like, hey, I really don't think that he was in the Marines. And that's proof enough for me. Right before we wrap this up, I just want to tell you the actual story that he had. He's just like, I was a defiant kid. I was always in detention. He told me that he'd been to prison. But yeah, he lied about going to prison as well. He's like, yeah, I had a lot of problems, man. And then one day, I came home because, I was just so rebellious. And I came home from hanging out with my friends one day. And I saw my bags packed in the front lawn. My mom was just like, you're going to boot camp, son. I was just like, oh no. I was just like, oh, this is bad. I'm going to boot camp. And then he was just like, but, I knew I had to do it, so I went to boot camp. I was defiant at first, but then I got snapped into place. Someone put me in my place. And then I decided to join the Marines. After that speech, he told me, he was just like, now, Kate, I know that back in the day, you were a bit of a delinquent yourself. And I was just like, yeah, I guess, depends on what your definition of delinquent is. I don't know, I think they're a little different. He was just like, no, I know, Kate, you were a bit of a delinquent when you were younger, and I just want to let you know that if you ever act up, I'm gonna have to put you in your place. You're gonna have to what?
That's just so, demeaning to you. And then I remember he went and he's like, and then somebody asked him, well, why are you not in the Marines now? He's like, I was honorably discharged. And he, showed his, scars that I had mentioned earlier that he probably got from something else. And he's
Which the scars wouldn't prohibit him from going back.
It was, this was when, President Trump was first elected, and he's just like, Trump is an amazing man. I went to the White House and was personally honored by Donald Trump.
That never happened. He didn't go to the White House.
He's like, I talked to him. He's like, I talked to him and I said, I'm like, Mr. President, it's an honor to meet you. And he's like, it's an honor to meet you, Alex.
Usually, if the president or whatever is doing something with the military, that stuff's easy to look up.
At first he was like, oh yeah, I was in the Marines, and I went overseas and every stuff like that. And then later on, he's like, well, maybe I just went to 1 or 2 classes with him or whatever, changing your story.
Yeah, he unfriended everybody because he couldn't handle the fact that people were seeing through his bullshit. He was like, oh, God. He had 2 best friends, and he unfriended them both.
This has been like the theme of the whole video, but we have no idea who this person really is, or who he was, or like who we were like sharing a room with. It's very disturbing. Anyway, if you like what you saw, please click like and subscribe.
Subscribe to see more of whatever the heck this was.
Make sure you leave your comments.
Bye.
Bye.